this is Sarah from Elemental Indigo, and this is your weekly oracle card reading for the week commencing 12th of January 2015. I'm using Angel Tarot cards today, which I'm just shuffling off screen because, as usual, for a huge pack with 78 cards, so it's a bit easier to just shuffle them off screen without knocking anything over. So today, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's what they term Blue Monday here in the UK. There's usually a Monday sort of about this point in January where it's apparently supposed to be the most miserable day of the year, basically. But when we generally, as a collective, we tend to feel our lowest. And then obviously if you've been watching the news recently, there's been loads of terrible things going on. I mean, I don't actually watch the news. I only know things that happen because of Twitter and Facebook shouting at me every time I go on it. So collectively at the moment, you know, we've got to be aware there's a lot of fear in the air, uncertainty, and that combined with Christmas can make us sort of feel pretty rubbish at this time of year. So, you know, maybe this week's a good time as well to step up the self-care and just really look after yourself and maybe those closest to you as well, and then we can kind of collectively put some more positive juju back into the pot. So I'm going to draw 3 cards and then lay them out, stand them up, sorry, one at a time. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, cool. So the first card is Monday, Tuesday, and it's a 2 of water. So 2 of water says a relationship that continues to grow closer, forgiveness, the positive resolution of a conflict. So if you've been having any conflict in close relationships recently, this card's saying that that might be drawing towards a conclusion now in a positive way, which is good. And also for you to maybe work on forgiveness. That doesn't, again, forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean that we have to accept what the other person did as right or good or whatever. It just releases us from being bound energetically to that person with this unforgiveness. So maybe a bit of letting go at the beginning of the week, especially when it comes again to things like fear and distrust as well. I think there's a lot of distrust in the air at the moment, so that might be an area you may need to focus on and maybe practice some forgiveness, whether it's something, you know, in a relationship currently or maybe something that's happened in the past which you haven't fully forgiven either yourself or someone else for, or maybe, should we say, instead of forgiveness, released that thing that's coming from the past. I feel as well this week that this card speaks of people close to you, and it's up to you this week to be maybe quite discerning on who the people are that are close to you this week. So, you know, if there's people who are kind of energy drains on you or bring the drama party, you know, there's maybe people that you don't want to have too close to you this week. With everything as it is collectively, that kind of energy that's about, you know, maybe it's a good time to really practice discernment on who's close to you, what energies you're surrounding yourself with or choosing to surround yourself with at the beginning of the week. So that's something to ponder there, who you're hanging out with at the beginning of the week. Okay, midweek, so that's Wednesday, Thursday, 6 of Earth. A 6 of Earth says, gifts of money, time or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan or paying off debts. I always like to see this card, personally. It's like, oh yay, good, okay. So yeah, we're getting quite into the practicalities of money with this card when it says receiving a loan or paying off debts. So, you know, we can all cross our fingers that's going to be the case for us this week. But I think maybe this card has a different meaning of maybe more bringing things into balance. So, again, referring back to the energies at the moment where everything's a bit out of whack, a bit fear-based. You know, there's this kind of blue kind of energy as well, you know, where we're feeling a bit down in the dumps and maybe a bit off balance. So it's about, again, bringing things back into balance, because we've been having a nice juggling act of doing that since really just before Christmas, when Christmas isn't actually a drama time. We were working on bringing our energies back into balance then. And now I think we're, as well as bringing our own energies back into balance, it's important that we do so on the collective level as well. So, you know, bringing everybody and everything back into balance just by doing our own little part, we can help to rebalance those scales. So when, you know, things like this do happen in the world, we don't all have to react in a fear-based way. We can maybe react in a different way, or not react, as it may be, and just help to rebalance that kind of energy that's coming up at the moment. And then also this card does speak of gifts of money, time or effort and new career opportunities. So, you know, midweek, keep your eyes peeled. If there's, you know, opportunities that are coming up, keep your eyes peeled for those. There may be something career related that you can really take and run with, or somebody may be offering you a gift in some way, money, time or effort. So, you know, if that's coming forward to you, then you know that you can gratefully receive that at the moment, and that'll be really beneficial to you moving forwards and rebalancing things for you. Okay, so that's Wednesday, Thursday, and then we've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There we go. Okay, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the 9 of Air, and the 9 of Air says expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies and sleepless nights. So again, there's this element of kind of fear-based worry coming in here. This could be on a wider level, or it could be on a more personal level, where, you know, we're feeling a bit rubbish and worrying about situations, and then as we do worry about situations, it can become self-fulfilling, and we can just look at things in such a negative slant that actually that way of being sort of comes into reality, and things don't go quite as we wanted them to. So again, that's something to watch at the end of the week, your thoughts. I've been guided this week actually to start a gratitude journal, which is something I've kind of done on and off over the years, but I feel like doing it more on a regular basis now. So perhaps, you know, if you're feeling similar, this may be a good week to say, okay, you know, I'm really going to focus on everything that in life that I am grateful for at the moment, you know, whether it leads to manifestation of dreams or not, or whether it just, you know, gets you through a bad patch and keeps you focused on more positive thoughts, which at the end of the day is what we need. So, yeah, you might be having sleep issues around this time as well, whether it's through worry, or whether, again, if you're sensitive to energy, you may be picking up on this collective worry and fear, and that can actually affect our sleep patterns as well. If you're kind of sensitive to that, you may find that you're having trouble sleeping at the moment. Another message I'm getting from this card is that, you know, often we can worry about things because we don't have necessarily the full picture, and actually I think in this case we're maybe worrying about things, and the reality is it's not as bad as it seems to us. You know, we can have different perceptions of things. We can have what you would call filtered perception of certain situations. And in this case, you know, it's not as bad as it seems. And so if you're worrying about something, maybe grab into that toolbox of ways to keep your thoughts positive. Exercise as well at the moment is really something simple like yoga, or something more sweat-inducing, whatever. Focus on tools to keep you pumped and positive, because it's not as bad as it seems. I know it seems awful, but it's not. Okay, so don't be losing sleep over it, because it's not necessary to. So that's basically a summation of this week. I've just posted a blog post as well. If you are into yoga, actually, I've just posted a blog post on a couple of YouTube yoga videos that I use at the moment, as I'm not able to get to classes. So if that's of interest to you, check that out. Otherwise, I will see you from next week's Oracle card reading. So have a great week and look after yourself. Bye.